There are certain things about myself that I dislike. One of the things I dislike is my reliance on verbal crutches. Things like, like, things of that nature. I wish I didn't do that. I'd rather do pregnant pauses in moments where I'm collecting my thoughts. But I worry that if there's too many pauses, people will lapse in attention. And of course, I'm a good little attention whore. I've been crafted into that by you, seeing what makes you respond, seeing what my contemporaries are doing. But I think the cost has been a certain degree of authenticity. An authenticity that I started with and have drifted away from. And I, for the longest time, thought that my decline in viewership was largely due to ideological shift. Not so much my own, but an ideological shift within the audience. And a willingness or lack of willingness on my part to play the game. I know how to modulate a message so that it is left-wing, which represents my viewpoints, and yet does not step so hard on the toes of the right. And in doing so, I can create content that is superficially left-wing in the sense that it identifies as such, but is in fact tepid, centrist garbage that gives undue credence to the right wing and treats them with the sort of light touch that you have to approach that demographic with, because they're very emotional. And I suppose that in certain ways, there are emotional vulnerabilities that are presented on the left as well. But they're not nearly so reactive. I don't mean reactionary. I mean reactive, as in a direct reaction to a stimulus. Stimulus response, no sort of filtration through any deeper cognitive process, no thought. It's easy to make that kind of content that appeals to that demographic without, exactly identifying with them. Because actually right-wingers really love a left-winger who sees their side of things. It's like an atheist who will go to Christians and say, oh, well, I'm an atheist, but I do believe that, religion brings people together or is a valuable social adhesive or something like that. Socially necessary. There might not really be a God, but there is a need in society for the concept of a God. And therefore, I align myself with religious people. Religious people, you would think, would be, well, if you reject the existence of my God, then I reject you. And some will. But a lot will be happy to ally with the atheist who believes in the social need for religion, even if they don't believe in the tangential reality of it. Tangential is not the right word. Material reality of it. It's easy to make that kind of content, and I thought that because I stopped making that kind of content, that was the primary reason why I've seen viewership declines. And I think that there is some of the responsibility there. But I think that there's also sort of a drift in mission or in presentation that might represent a chunk of that as well. I think that there has been a sort of stagnation in terms of in terms of performance. I struggled a long time to find the word there. I guess performance is the word. A performance is a facade. If you are a vlogger or podcaster or whatever I am, you have, I suppose, a choice of creating a performance that is authentic or that is completely bogus, or it could be a combination of the two things. And when I started out here, I feel like there was much more of the real me being put forth. And now I feel like there's less. And I never really made a conscious decision to do that. I was just sort of shaped by market forces and social pressures and so on. I don't really feel like I've misrepresented my opinions at any point. And I thought that because I was never misrepresenting my opinions, that I was being authentic. But I think that maybe I didn't really question the performance. I didn't ask myself if the performance was authentic. Because I'll find myself slipping into this persona that is laughing and smiling. And sometimes I feel that way, but a lot of times I don't. But I thought to myself, well, you know, this is the level of energy that people want. They want me to sort of have a lighthearted joviality to me, especially when I'm doing a live stream, or very especially when I'm doing a show with my co-hosts on Deep Fat Fried, or before that, my co-hosts on Drunken Peasants. There, I fell into a sort of, you know, lightheartedness, a, you know, social version of TJ that's just hanging out with his friends and shooting the shit and making memes and having a good time. And that's an aspect of me, but it's become a wildly overrepresented part of my personality. And I don't know if that happened out of genuine necessity, or if it happened out of just some sort of misperception of reality on my part, or if it's a combination of the two, or if there's some other factors, perhaps. But I'm tired of plastering on a fake smile. I'm tired of laughing at things I don't really think are funny. I'm tired of the verbal crutches, the ums, the you-knows, the whatever, the whatevers, right? I obviously cannot just excise that completely from my vocabulary, and I can't reinvent the wheel overnight. But I would like to focus on being more a representation of my genuine self in any given moment when I am doing this. And if that means a long, pregnant pause, or if that means that I'm not in a particularly jokey mood, then I don't necessarily want to go down those paths. I've demonstrated that I can do that I can maintain that. So I've proven that I can do it. now I'd like to prove that I don't have to. But I don't know. What does that do to charisma? I don't know that I particularly have. I don't know that I am particularly endowed. Don't make a penis joke there. With an overabundance of charisma. I obviously have some. There is something about me that has always resonated with some people. And for some, it's a very strong resonance. And for some, it's a more casual resonance. But it does seem to exist. I do seem to exude it to some degree. I don't really understand fully why. But I don't question it. I just use it. And I don't know that if me delivering things in this way, that's my cat meowing, I don't know if you can hear him. I don't know if me delivering things this way halts that, because I think that maybe some people, especially in this age of lightning fast content, might find this style of communication very cumbersome, slow, and, maybe the subject matter very self-indulgent. And guilty on that count, at least. I don't know. I feel like I am a person who has a lot of different tangents going on inside of me at any given moment. Those of you who have some form of, ADHD or something like that. I don't know what else would have similar symptoms. Maybe some high-functioning forms of autism or something. Maybe you understand. And a lot of times when I am sort of stalled out for a minute, it's not because I am functioning slowly inside. It's because I'm functioning too quickly. And it's very hard to put the jumble together into a coherent narrative. That's why you see the chaos, in the collage. That's why the background here is this jumble of, I don't know how many images went into the creation of this, but I would say it's in the hundreds. And the sticker cabinet back there, and the lack of ability in the entirety of my channel's history to ever settle into a predictable pattern or like a reasonable groove or a predictable pattern of content. Not just the release of content, but the content of content. There was a period of time where I was, focused on atheistic videos. And there was a period of time when I was focused on anti-SJW videos. And I guess that if there's been any sort of focus of late, it's been political. But, throughout my channel's history, there's always been this wide variety of topics I've discussed. And if you look at the podcast I created, Deep Fat Fried, created alongside Scotty and Paul, obviously. We all co-created it. I'm not trying to say I'm the only creator. If you look at that stuff, it's all about different subjects, variety, because it's very hard to focus. It's very hard to draw everything down into something that I can distill into just words to convey to you. And I feel like no matter how hard I try, I can't get this out of here in a way. Like, there's so many things in the way, because there's this, and then there's what's coming out, which is never precise, which is never right. And then it's going into your little ear holes, and it's going into your brain. And then how your brain chews on it, I have no control over. And so what resemblance at the end of this process does this in here have to what goes into yours? Because, I can't convey it properly. You can't interpret it properly. Communication is a nightmare. And it's what I do. And I'm not great at it, but no one really is. Some of us are better than others, but none of us are really great. And those of us who have been the best at it have risen to extraordinary heights in society because they can do something that's almost a miracle. They can convey with some degree of accuracy what's in their heads. That's really tough. It's tough to do in this medium. It's tough to do in, political discourse. It's tough to do in art. It's just flat out tough. I don't know what I'm driving at here. I guess that the main takeaway from this video, if you've made it this far, should be that I'm going to strive for a more authentic performance. It's still going to be a performance because it has to be. You couldn't possibly understand if it wasn't. It'd be as comprehensible as that. The cat meowing in the hallway. Actually, he is pretty comprehensible. He just wants food. Well, maybe I'm just as comprehensible. Maybe I just want attention. Maybe I want attention, but I have nothing to give you in return. That's a depressing thought. Oh my God, shut up. This motherfucker acts like he's starving. He's not, I promise you. I always find it fascinating, cats, because they let me know that I'm a conservative at heart. You know, I'm politically very left wing, but cats let me know that fundamentally I'm a right winger, like on an emotional level, because I have power over them, and I don't I don't bestow upon them endless fairness. You know, I'm nice, but you know, if they annoy me, they're gone. They're not kicked out of the house, obviously, but you know, they'll throw them in the bedroom. Hey, you're fucking annoying. Get out of here. You know. What is that cat? You know, cats. So that's like institutionalization for them. Like, oh man, they locked us up. You know, the cats. Oh, I need more food. I need more food. It's like, you ate already. Very Republican, you know. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. I got distracted by this fucker meowing. And that's the problem, right? Just very easily derailed. We were ruminating about whether or not I have anything to offer you in return for your attention. I'd like to think I do. I don't know. There's a lot of people out there who want attention. And they're willing to do some pretty outrageous things to get it. I'm not one of them. I'm not willing to cross several lines to get attention for myself that I think a lot of people, my contemporaries, would. I've turned down reality shows, you know, not recently, obviously, but, you know, when I was a little bit more prosperous on this platform, I turned down the reality shows. I turned down the talk shows. A lot of things, you know, were put forth to me that could have potentially advanced my career. But to me, it's not a career, is the problem, I guess. It's a fundamental need. I need your attention, but it can't just be superficial. I need your intimate attention. I need you to try to take what's in here and put it in your own skull. But why? Why do I want that? Why do I want to take this and put it somewhere else? Propagation? Need to be remembered. Some kind of legacy. None of that sounds right to me. So why? Why? I really don't know. Yes, I do. It's because we live in a nightmare. This place is horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I don't let it get to me. Not much. Not anymore. But it's an awful place. And I feel like if more of you saw it the way I did, maybe it'd be a little better. Maybe that's narcissism. But no one ever accused me of being humble.